Okay, so discussing a weak base, it's a very similar process. So weak bases, again, will not 100% dissociate. So they actually are in an equilibrium with water. So strong bases, remember, is 100% dissociation. So it's simply a dissociation equation that's being written out. If you have a weak base, so one of the weak bases I'm expecting you to know is ammonia, NH3. Other weak bases, typically you're told in the question, like the following weak base, et cetera, et cetera. So the only strong bases that you know really are group 1 and group 2 metals with hydroxide. You are to assume others are weak bases, but really the only one that you are expected to know the formula is ammonia. So ammonia plus water. So remember that bases are proton acceptors. So here NH3 has become an ammonium ion, NH4+, and our water has become hydroxide. So the exact same thing here happens. If you had to write out the K expression, so our K expression is now called a KB because it's a base equilibrium, you would simply have, so NH4+, you would still have your products over your reactants, but remember that that water is not included. So in this case, it would be ammonium times hydroxide over ammonia itself. Okay, but the same deal, the higher your KB value, the stronger that base is, right? Because there's more products being created. And actually, that same appendix where you found your weak acids, there's also a weak base chart there as well, right? So here is an example. So here's that KB for ammonia that I've shown. So aqueous boron is another weak base, right? So it's the same process. So we have a proton that's being moved over. We have BH+ and then hydroxide. So our KB expression in this case are going to be our products over reactants, of course, not including the water in our K expression. So percent ionization, as I mentioned before, is the same thing as percent reaction or as percent yield. So it's essentially comparing, it's a ratio really, comparing how much product is created in comparison to how much reactant you started off with. So for percent ionization, your numerator is how much of that weak acid has been ionized. So think of this as your product amount. Of course, product, we're always in discussing at equilibrium, right? Over the initial, how much of your weak acid did you start off with? Times 100, right? So the higher the percent ionization, the more product you had in comparison to what you had originally. So again, the weaker the acid, the lower the percent ionization, the smaller the K value is. That should kind of all make sense and start jiving at this point, right? So the more product you have, of course, the stronger the acid. So if you have a low percent ionization, that means you have not a lot of product, which means your K value is going to be smaller. So let's take a look at some question examples. We'll come back to, we'll do a question with the percent ionization as well. So there's a couple of things that are a little bit different about weak acid, weak base questions. So first of all, let's look this over. So it says the pH of a 0.10 mole per liter methanoic acid solution is 2.38. Okay, so we have the pH, 2.38. And we have the concentration. Now, the concentration that is given when you are dealing with weak acid, weak base, this is always your initial concentration. So methanoic acid is HCOOH. So the initial concentration is 0.10 moles per liter. The pH value is always recorded at equilibrium. Okay, so this is an assumption that has to be made anytime you are doing these types of questions. So if you're dealing with a weak acid, weak base equilibrium scenario, the pH, either if you have to calculate it or if it's given to you in this case, that is known to be once equilibrium has been established. The concentration that is given is the initial of that weak acid. So that is not the concentration at equilibrium. That is initial concentration. And they're asking us to solve for the percent ionization. So essentially, we have the concentration initially, we have information about equilibrium, and we want to solve for percent ionization. Okay, so before we get into this, I'm going to do this continuing on another page. We're going to write out our reaction here, or our equilibrium, right? So here's our methanoic acid plus water, and that's going to donate. So we have HCOO, AQ plus H3O plus. Okay, so we have here our ice table. Now, probably, well, why are we doing an ice table? So remember that we're trying to do percent ionization. I'm just going to set this up for you so you understand where the numbers are coming from. So the initial value is 0.10 moles per liter. Remember, water is not included in our equilibrium here, and we start with no product, right? Our change is going to be minus X on the reactant side, plus X on the product side. And our equilibrium is going to be our initial plus our change. So we have 0.10 minus X, X, and X. So far, hopefully this is looking good to you. Now, by them telling us the pH at equilibrium, that's actually a key here. The pH is 2.38 at equilibrium. So what that means is, if you recall, we can actually get the information about hydronium ions from the pH. So the concentration of hydronium at equilibrium, we can do by, which is essentially X, we can do that by doing 10 to the exponent negative pH, right? It's the relationship between hydronium and pH, right? Going vice versa. If you have one, how to solve for the other. So if we have the pH, really, that's our way of indicating, well, what is X equal to? So if we do 10 to the exponent negative 2.38 here, we get 4.17 times 10 to the negative 3 moles per liter. So this is our concentration at equilibrium for hydronium. Okay, in other words, this tells us, my 3 looks a little wonky, well, you know that that's a 3. This is the concentration of how much actually ionized from our original acid. So this is like our ionized acid, like how much became product. This is how much product we have made. So percent ionization is equal to the concentration of hydronium at equilibrium, or which is also, in other words, another way of saying the amount of weak acid that has been ionized, or the amount of product. And if we compare it to how much original weak acid we have, right? So we're comparing our product to how much we began with, we can figure out the percent ionization here. So this is going to be 4.17 times 10 to the negative 3 moles per liter over 0.10 moles per liter. If you remember, percentage works the same way. You can do this with concentration numbers or with mole values. It's the same thing. You're just simply creating a ratio of final product at equilibrium comparison to how much we started with. So we actually get a value here of 4.2%. Okay, so remember, equilibrium is anywhere between 1 and 99%. So it's well within that range, but to be honest, this is a very weak acid, right? So then only 4.2% actually became product. The remainder of that is actually as a reactant. Okay, so let's take a look at another example, looking at another weak acid equilibrium here. So we have calculate the Ka value. So we're looking for Ka. and for hydrofluoric acid, which is a weak acid. If we have, so the concentration of HF, remember if they give you concentrations, it's always initial in this case, 0.100 moles per liter at SATP, and it has a percent ionization of 7.8%. Okay, so we have our initial and we have our percent ionization. So we're going to deal with this to try and solve for Ka. Okay, but before we do anything else, let's write out our equilibrium. You always want to, if you're not given that in the question, you should always jot this down. Okay, so we end up having H3O plus fluorine ions. Okay, so our ice table, right, we're starting off with 0.100 moles per liter. Okay, water is a liquid. Here we have 0, 0 to begin. Here we're going to have minus x, plus x, plus x, 0.100 minus x, x. Okay, so now the next part that's going to help us out, of course, is this percent ionization. So if you recall, percent ionization tells us how much product was made. So essentially, we can figure out, well, X is really equal to how much product was made. So we can figure out 7.8% of the initial concentration. And if we know what 7.8% of this is, we can figure out how much product. Like 7.8% of this 0.1 became hydronium and became fluorine ions. So by having percent ionization, really we have a direct way of calculating what X is. So we'll do that next. So we have here, okay, so 7.8%, right, we're going to set this up, is equal to X over our original concentration times 100, right? So you're basically just rearranging. So you divide by 100, and then you're going to cross multiply. Our X value here ends up being 7.8 times 10 to the negative 3 moles per liter, right? That's how much product we have. So now we can set up our K. So our Ka expression is going to be our products over our reactants. Over HF. Now, if you recall, this is X and X over, right? So this is essentially X over 0.100 moles per liter minus X. But we know what X is equal to. So we're basically going to plug in and solve for Ka because we have this number. So this is going to be 7.8 times 10 to the negative 3 squared over 0.1 minus 7.8 times 10 to the negative 3. All right, so we end up getting Ka is equal to 7.8 times 10 to the negative 3 squared over 0.100 minus 7.8 times 10 to the negative 3. So we end up getting a value here, a Ka value of 6.6 times 10 to the negative 4. Okay, so whenever you're given data to work with, it's not going to be as simple as, well, let's just look up what the Ka value is for HF. You essentially have to prove what the number is. So percent ionization is a very powerful piece of information. We can get our product quantity from that. Another piece of powerful information when you're dealing with questions like this is a pH, because that's a way of determining your hydrogen or hydronium concentration as well. Now keep in mind, when you're dealing with questions like this with ice tables, you're going to see the same things pop up that came up when you were doing quantitative reactions before. You may have to use the 100 rule, see if you can get rid of an X value. It's going to be really the same as the quantitative questions you've seen in Chapter 7 The only difference here is it's now going to be an acid or base equilibrium.